Aboriginals.
Hello, we're in talk mode. Back for another rant from myself. Um, I want to start off by saying apologies for the drop in the quality of the audio. Potentially, my mic is being awkward and not getting picked up by the mic. So, I just want to say that to start off. Today's topic, well, you've probably been hearing a lot about the cost of living crisis. And I don't know, man. It's something that it's affecting all of us, and there's a lot of talk about it already. So, what can anyone else add to the conversation? But I don't know. So something just clicked in my head yesterday while I was listening to Radio 5 Live. And there's a woman that called in and was talking about school uniforms, and she's like, "Oh, I've spent the best part of 300 odd quid and still got more stuff to buy." And last year she couldn't buy an overcoat for her kid, so her kid kept getting into detention. And I was like, overcoat? Like you have to wear an overcoat? There's a uniform for that? And I don't know, the whole situation just seems a bit ridiculous right now. I mean, it just like people can't heat their homes. Why are they having to worry about school uniforms? So anyway, I thought I'd look into this a little bit. So I started looking at my old school now. When I went to school, different time, man. We had a uniform, but essentially it was black and white. That was the uniform. You got to dress in a white shirt or polo shirt or t-shirt and some black trousers. Really, you could get away with a plain white t-shirt and black jeans. Um, I don't remember if there was. Uh, uniform for the shoes. I don't think there was because I don't remember ever having to think about that. There was no blazer, no tie. You could wear any coat as long as it kept you dry, which is what matters. And then yeah, we had a PE kit, blue jogging bottoms, white t-shirt, pretty standard. So I thought I'd go look at my old school and see what the situation is there right now. And things have changed. So they now require a blazer with a school crest, and you have to wear a tie. It has to be shirt tucked in and trousers. There's no option for a polo shirt or anything like that. Black school shoes, very specific about the kinds you can wear. Look like a bloody old man from the examples they were given. Um, School with the PE kit, has to be a specific blue bottoms and a top, pretty standard. Um, and there is rulings on the overcoat. It has to be plain and no logos and all of this stuff. So you have to specifically look for one like that because if you went to a normal store, I mean, it has logos, isn't it? Coats have logos nowadays, but it has to be a pretty plain one. I don't think they have a color requirement. Um, but yeah, so I just thought I'd do some research and see how much all of this costs. Now I went bare minimum, so I went one blazer, one pair of shoes. I didn't include trainers for your PE because I'm assuming you own some. Um, I did two pairs of trousers, and two shirts. Now let's be honest, and I did this all for like a year seven, year eight kid. Let's be honest here, the older you get, yeah, so you year 10, year 11, you need more of that stuff. You're gonna burn through it a lot quicker. Um, a lot of the time you won't find your size within the school uniform sections of a store. Um, So all those things are like caveats to what I'm looking at right now. But I worked it out, and even with my bare minimum fulfilling of the school rules, you're looking at £100 per kid. £100 per kid. Now, again, let me say I am being like bare minimum. In fact, I could probably increase that to 150 like right off the bat because I've only bought like one school tie and one school blazer, one school jumper. But really, you're gonna need multiple of those things. But I'm going bare minimum and it's £100. So if you bought the doubles like you should really, you're looking at 150 quid, maybe close to 200 if you have to buy trainers or whatever. And it's ludicrous, man. Like, why? Why is that required, man? We spent the last 2 years doing school from home. You weren't wearing a uniform then. Like, I get it. There are advantages to having a uniform. It's kind of like they're kind of going for that military vibe, and it gives you the sense of, I don't know, like a responsibility and looking professional and all of this other crap. And that's fair, but I went to school without a specific uniform in the way this is. Turned out alright. I know how to dress smart, in my own opinion, obviously. Um, but yeah, man, it just seems a bit stupid that we got kids that can't afford to have money for lunch, yet they are required to spend the best part of £200, let's say £100 on a minimum, to get school uniforms. And if you got a kid that grows quick, then that one set of uniform probably ain't gonna last a year. So, you know, it's stupid. I don't get why the government hasn't intervened with council schools and turned around and said, yo, scrap the uniform. They're trying to like raise taxes and lower taxes and do all this other bullshit that they're trying to do, which is not really working because look at us, we're all shafted. Why not get rid of school uniforms and just be like, look, for this next year, until this cost of living crisis that we're looking at has improved, no school uniforms. Wherever you got, don't buy new clothes. Where's the problem with that? There isn't one. You're just saving all these people. Think about it, man. You're a house with three children in high school age or secondary school age. Don't know why I turned American there. But that's £300 minimum. Could be a lot more. Where how are people gonna afford this, man? They can barely like. Yeah, and look, not I know not everyone is in a position where they're like they can't eat. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm grateful. I don't have kids, okay? So this topic does not affect me at all. But it was just one that I thought was ridiculous. Yeah, but like I'm comfortable, sort of. Like I'm on an average income, but it's still tight. We're not talking about just like the really struggling families. This would be amazing for them. But I'm just talking about the average family as well. That can normally afford most things and are doing all right, but they're still struggling. This is an additional cost that no one needs. And it's not like this cost. So the other like I was thinking of other solutions and stuff, and other things that I think that we are charged for that probably shouldn't be, like parking, for example. But I was like, okay, no, we can't tell them to scrap parking charges because, well, that's income for the council, right? So if we park in council spots in council car parks, that money goes to the council, which then they reinvest into the city. So I was like, okay, like we can't, because then they'll be like, oh yeah, we're losing the income streams, we can't support families and we can't give benefits and we can't look after the roads and all these road works that we're doing, which seem fucking pointless, so we won't be able to fund them anymore. Yeah, that's a topic for another day. But I like, okay, we can't scrap this. But school uniform, what's the benefit? Ain't that money that we spend on school uniforms, or the parents spend on school uniforms, that don't go to the school. That go get spent with Asda, Tesco for the trousers and stuff, and then some specific uniform companies that the school partners with for blazers and stuff like that. But that money is not going to the council, it's not going to the school, it's not funding anything. That money is just being spent because for whatever reason, the school thinks it's necessary for our kids to be wearing blazers and ties and whatever and turn them into old fucking men at the age of fucking 12, 13. I'm swearing too much, I'm sorry. But 12, 13 years old and need to dress by little gentlemen and stuff, and the women need to be, or the girls need to be, dressed all prim and proper. Like, yo, the kids, let them enjoy themselves. Yeah, okay. So the one thing I would agree with the school uniform is, yeah, you know what, just set some colors. So and set to be no logos. So that way it eliminates the element of competition between kids to look cooler. We just make it like, yo, you have to wear black and white, no logos, and that's it. That's the rules. No more than that. Like, what are you doing? Now, I've ranted on a bit here, but you can see my point, right? So imagine we scrap school uniforms. That means every household, well, basically it means per child, you will save 100 to 200 pounds. Yeah, depending on the child, size, whatever, whatever. 100 to 200 pound per child. That pays for their school lunches for what? Let's say school lunches. Now, depending on what the pricing is, it's been a while since I've, bought a school lunch. But back when I was in school, I could take £10 would last me a week, like £2 a day at lunch. Get a cob or a jack potato or something like that. So £2 a day at lunch. That's £10 a week. That's what, between 10 and 20 weeks? How much is a term nowadays? How many weeks is a term? I don't bloody know. Was it like 3 months? Something like that. Anyway, the point is, let's say 2 terms. It could cover 2 terms worth of lunches for the child. Does this make sense? Am I wrong? Am I stupid? Can someone comment on this and tell me why we're not done this already? Come on, man. All right, I think that's enough. But and it's probably too late to do anything about this. Like a lot of parents have already spent the money on the uniforms, and I was talking about this now. It's not like someone's gonna listen to this and be like, "Oh, that's a good idea. Let's take it to the government." Ain't no one listening. But it's just something that I thought needs to be talked about. It just seems ridiculous. Like, how is that not like? Well, it ain't the first thing you think about like, when you go through struggling times financially. First thing you think about is, okay, what can we cut out? What's unnecessary? School uniforms, unnecessary. Why are the government doing this? I don't understand it. Why are schools doing this? Like the schools, as a duty of care to these children, should just turn around instead of putting a kid in detention. When they turn around and tell you we can't afford to buy this stupid uniform. Now, don't get me wrong. Let me caveat this. Before the cost of living crisis, there are services within the school that offer help to children who can't afford uniforms, as far as I'm aware. That does exist. I respect that. That's cool. But now we all can't afford it, really. Like even the rich people, let's say, let's caveat this as well. You talk about people, oh no, they're on decent income, they can take the hit, they can absorb the hit. I keep hearing that on the fucking radio. Now listen, we I say we, I'm not rich, but I see people on people on low income. They're struggling. They're struggling really badly because everything is impacting them badly. Okay, so let's use the school uniform as an example. £200, £200 to someone who's on 20 grand is going to affect them a lot more than £200 to someone who's on 30 grand. Right? I agree. Yeah, and the people on 20 grand require more help. I also agree with that. But don't take it away from the people on 30 grand. Like those ones are struggling too, okay? They work that hard to be able to be living a different way, to have a lifestyle that is costing them 30 grand a year. So the £200 is also hitting them as well. Do you get me? Do you get me? So it's equal. Now, if we take this back to the schools and say, yo, they provide help to the people who are most vulnerable, who don't have like, their own benefits or whatever, and get required help. Yeah, so they get some help about the school uniforms. I'm ranting a bit, I'm moving back and forth. But they'll get some help. The people on 30 grand, 40 grand, 50 grand, 100 grand, whatever it is, okay, the people on 100 grand could probably absorb the cost, but like, I'm just talking about like, people on average, sort of average incomes that would not be considered for any means tested benefits or any, universal credit or anything like that. Those people are still being hit with this additional cost. Like, this cost is affecting everyone. So, those people that are being hit with this cost, they're not going to get any help from the school because they'll be considered, nah, you guys can afford it, right? But it's hitting everyone. We're all equal. Like all our children are equal. Like so, we're all getting hit with this 300 whatever pound extra cost of school uniforms. They should just scrap the damn thing. Now, like I said, ain't no one gonna do anything about it now because it's probably too late. Half the parents have already bought the school uniforms. And who's gonna go to the government right now to say that? I mean, the fucking government hasn't thought about it already. They're not gonna think about it now. Money hungry bastards. But what about this? If you're listening to this and you think this is a good idea, yo, drop me a message on like Twitter or on Instagram. I'll have originals. And let's do something about this. Let's start a revolution. What if we all refuse to wear school uniforms to school? Yeah, what they're gonna do? Expel everyone? I don't think so. I don't think so. What are they gonna do? Everyone refuse to wear the damn school uniforms. Save the money. Give it to your kids so that they can eat lunch. That's more important. This is stupid, man. This whole situation is stupid. Now, don't get me wrong, like, there's a reason some prices are rising and all that, but, like, so many things we could do to save some money and just, distribute the wealth, help people out. Everyone's struggling. We can do more. The government can do more. We'll get into a few other topics, but for now, I'm out.